Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday, the 27th of June, 2022. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 things that happened today that you need to know about. So let's jump into it. Story number 1 today is the markets. What a day for the S&P ASX 200, closing up nearly 2% to 6,706 points. The local bourse had a very strong lead in from Wall Street over the weekend, but all 11 sectors climbed today, with financials leading the way. All the big 4 banks were up. The best performer, though, was biotech company Imugene. Its share price soared, get this, 45% on positive news relating to a cancer treatment. After taking a beating lately, lithium stocks had a great day too. Core Lithium and Liontown were both up more than 11%. Sports betting company PointsBet climbed almost 12.5%. At the other end of the market, though, some of the big gold miners had a shocker. Evolution Mining down almost 22% after lowering production guidance. Northern Star Resources closed down nearly 12%, and Newcrest was 5.6% lower. Story number 2 today, 5 weeks in, and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is still setting a cracking pace, particularly when it comes to international relations. He took off last night for the NATO meeting in Madrid, and on his way stopped at the Australian airbase in the United Arab Emirates. It's his first visit to Australian troops overseas since becoming Prime Minister. Before he took off for Europe, though, he apparently had a phone call with Prime Minister Sogavare of the Solomon Islands. Now, that's a pretty significant development in the relationship between the two countries. It's the first phone call since the election, but it came after the Solomon Islands signed a security deal with China earlier this year, really sharpening the focus for the incoming Labor government on improving relations with our Pacific neighbours. Story number 3, we know there are a lot of scammers out there, but I reckon this is just getting a little bit ridiculous. The Australian Taxation Office has recently shut down something like 600 websites claiming to be the ATO. The Financial Review reports that the warning has been issued in the lead up to tax time as part of a briefing to the Australian Cybersecurity Centre. Apparently, the ATO has millions of hits on its firewall every day, and since hackers can't get through in order to steal details, they just try to impersonate the ATO instead. Another interesting stat, $1.2 billion in invoices is transacted every year through the local economy. And so that's why the ATO is now calling on businesses to shift away from emails and PDFs and move towards specialist software that's got a bit of built-in security. Story number 4, Russia has defaulted on foreign debt for the first time in more than a century. The country's obviously been hit hard recently by Western sanctions as a response to the invasion of Ukraine, and now it's run out of time to pay about $100 million in interest payments on foreign debt, even though it says it's got the money to pay it. So what's it all mean? Bloomberg says the default is largely symbolic because the damage has already been done to the Russian economy and to the local markets there. Worth noting, though, the last time this happened was more than 100 years ago in the wake of the Russian Revolution when Lenin was running the country. Pretty extraordinary. Story number 5, it's hardly news, really, but there is big money to be made in social media, and TikTok has a new top creator. 22-year-old Khaby Lame has almost 150 million followers on TikTok and has raked in about $20 million so far. Apparently, he makes about $70,000 per sponsored video. Not bad. And if you think it's impressive for a 22-year-old to be such a high achiever, consider this. The person Khaby Lame passed to become the most popular TikTok creator in the world was just 20 years old and making about $25 million a year. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 27th of June, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast, and you can find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Join me and Adam Lang tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.